Like, it's crazy, man. Hello, welcome to another episode of the Assimilation Podcast, where we dive deep into the latest trends and ideas shaping our world. I'm your host, MJ Mpoyi. Join me as I talk with experts, thought leaders, and fascinating individuals from all walks of life to bring you a fresh perspective on the issues that matter the most. Whether you're a curious learner or a passionate professional, this is the podcast for you. So sit back, relax, and get ready to be inspired, educated, and entertained. This is the Assimilation Podcast. Now, this next guest needs no introduction. I've actually been trying to think of ways to how to introduce her. You've probably seen her on billboards, you've probably seen her on your banking app, even in my university. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my next guest, a digital storyteller in podcasting, photography, blog writing, and documentary. Welcome to the podcast, Rosie.
Hey.
I've actually been trying to find a way to introduce you. How does one person introduce you? Because you've been doing so many things.
I don't know. I do too much, I guess.
Literally. But where does it stem from? Like the idea or the drive to be working in a creating platform. Yeah. Where does it stem from?
I like expressing myself.
Oh, okay.
I like trying out new things.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a curse and a blessing because you want to, like, I admire a lot of people that have one big passion and they like completely like invest in that.
Literally.
And then like being invested in like a million things makes like I know a little about a lot.
You know a little about a lot. I love that. But so what is the one thing that you haven't done yet? That you're still going to do?
Acting, actually I have done acting.
I saw you on TV.
Why?
On the series, is it a soapy thing?
Yeah.
So you've been acting?
Yes, but it was like a side role. Like I want a main character role in a production. That would be nice. Yeah.
So is that what did you study? Like, if somebody's watching and they don't know who's Rosie, how would you describe yourself to them? Who's Rosie? Where does she come from? Where did she grow up?
So where do I come from and what did I study? Let's start with that.
Yeah.
So I'm from Ghent.
Oh, okay.
And I studied communication sciences.
Oh, okay.
A long time ago. No, not that long.
Long time ago.
No, like I graduated in.
You make it sound like you old.
Actually. No, when did I graduate? I think I started studying in 2016. Whoa. I studied for 4 years, so that was then 2020.
I started high school. Oh my goodness, that's bad. You're making me look way too young. Whoa.
Sorry, fam. Sorry. And then I did 1 more year at the at Kosk Art School about digital storytelling, and that's where I really, really did a technical study about photography and podcasting and even videography. Gaming was in there as well, but I'm not too passionate about that. But so that's when I really got a hang on it, or know how to say that. And that's when I started my podcast, and that's how it all started.
So how long have you been doing it? Have you been doing it from 2016? You've been like into modeling because you also model, acting. Yeah. So did it start from a young age, or So it started from a young age, and then you just went on to studying communication as well.
Yeah, but okay, so.
But why communication and not acting? Why didn't you study art?
Yeah, so good. I mean, I think that's sort of like I grew up in a really traditional family, and my parents were especially my mom was pushing me into university. She really wanted me to go to study medicine or law or business, something that you had a future with, according to my mom. And she thought that everyone that went to art school was going on drugs and like derailing and
whoa.
She's really love her, but she she could have a more open mind sometimes.
Yeah.
So that's why I actually did communication sciences. It was broad enough for me to go in different directions, and it was still university. I still had to justify myself a lot to study that, because she was like, what can you do with that? And I'm not really doing anything with my degree anyway. Whoa. So
but can't you like find a job like news reporter or something like that? Because that's the ultimate journey that everybody that studies communication,
or like go into politics and be like a spokesman for politicians,
literally,
or doing marketing. That's a lot of people. A lot of people do that too after having studied communication sciences. So I know the thing is that I studied in Australia. I did my master's in Australia, and that's where like I had my first like real heartbreak as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I
your first heartbreak.
Yeah.
On what terms? Like relationship?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's another story. But I got really inspired to channel actually all of my anger and pain into a podcast, because I was having all of these conversations, and I was really like, I thought they could be useful for other people, and then I went to that postgraduate. Then I did that postgraduate study after my my exchange, and I learned how to podcast. And I mean, I think you. So
you're a full producer, like you can produce like from scratch, like podcasting and stuff.
Yes, but I don't think you need to study for it. You can also just watch YouTube tutorials, I think.
Yeah.
You just need to exercise a bit on editing and everything. But if you have the right equipment and the right concepts, you can make a successful podcast.
Okay.
Sure.
So you went from Ghent. Where did you study at university? Where did you start your university from?
I studied in Ghent. Yeah.
In Ghent, and then from Ghent, and then you went to Australia. How long have you been living? Did you live in Australia for? 7 months. 7 months, and then you came back to Belgium.
Yeah, it was. Actually, you can hear it when you do that. I don't know if that's a problem.
No, it's okay.
Okay. So I studied in Ghent, and I did my 3rd year of bachelor's in Canada.
Whoa.
And then my master's in Australia.
But why did you move so much?
Because why not? It's so much fun. You're here too. You're from South Africa. You're studying in Brussels now.
Yeah.
Why are you?
I don't think I would move again though.
You wouldn't go back.
I wouldn't move again, like to go and study somewhere else. Maybe for my master's, but for the time being, no.
It's an exchange, so it's all organized by Ghent. It was all organized by Ghent University. You had to apply for it, and then like some students get selected, and then you can go, and you also have to apply for a grant, and then because it's expensive to live in Canada or in Australia.
Literally,
it's also expensive to live in Belgium. But it's even more expensive in Australia. Like, it was crazy, but with the grant, it went fine.
Okay.
And the reason why I went to Australia is because I went to Canada. I came back and I was like, what the fuck? I really want to go abroad again. I had a taste of living abroad, and it's so nice. It's so enriching. You know the cliches.
So you finish studying communication, and then you come back home. How does life after university looks like? I mean, where do you start? How was it? The process of you having to apply for jobs here. How does that whole process start?
It's trenches. It's not cute. You just have to keep going. And you also just my first job, I actually just changed jobs. But so I came back from Australia, did that postgraduate study, and then I was like, in my head, I was like, I have to when the day I graduate, like the next day I have to have a job. Yeah. And I have to live by myself, and I have to provide for myself. And that didn't work because I didn't find a job in the first 3 months. And I was doing all of these side projects, which was really fun and which was filling up my portfolio. And, it's you get exposure, but it doesn't pay the bills.
Well, when you say the side projects, do you mean like that's when you were getting the gigs on having to be on the app, on the billboards and all this kind of stuff?
But that's a side hustle.
It's a side hustle. It doesn't cut it? No. Does not pay the bills?
No. I mean, no.
For real?
I mean, I maybe have a like a modeling campaign is maybe once every 3 months. That doesn't
Whoa.
cover the bills.
Whoa.
It's
Not enough?
no.
Damn. Okay, so going back, you're looking for a job and then, yeah?
I joined a company, did like part-time. My condition was work part-time, so I'd still have time left for my own stuff.
Oh, okay.
And I loved working there. I loved working with them, but not for them. Like I wasn't really passionate about the project, about the product. And after a year and a half, I was like, okay, I'm kind of over it now.
But what type of work were you doing? Like, what exactly?
It was like photography, making podcasts, writing blogs, doing interviews, making social media posts for a software company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And how long did you work there for?
A year and a half.
So you recently just only changed?
Yeah. So literally this Thursday was my first day at Chase agency.
So which one was the one you were? There's a one. Is it Tinkerlist?
Tinkerlist, yeah.
So you moved from there.
Yeah.
So you just moved from there.
Yeah.
Why?
But shout out Tinkerlist. But, because I'm young, it's my first job. There was another opportunity that fit more in my field of interest. So
okay.
we just hop on the next job.
Damn.
That's nicely said.
Damn. And you loving it at Chase so far?
Yeah, but Chase and I, we go way back. We did the podcast for the VUB together.
So
I did my internship.
That's
from
Chase. Chase is the one that got you the.
Yeah.
And by the way, for those that are watching, she's the one responsible for the podcast of my university, which is very surprising. You know, I was actually a bit sad.
Which is Rebels with a Cause, by the way, available on all podcast platforms.
Yeah, do your plugin. But I was actually sad because when I came to university, I was thinking I'm actually going to do university radio. But when I arrived, there wasn't university radio. And I thought I was going to be the one to like implement the idea of having to do a podcast for the university. And then they gave it to you. Because I remember filling in a form. I remember filling in a form.
Really?
Literally. Because they were looking for like a journalist team for the university. I remember filling in a form so I could like be on the whatever journalist list and be. Yeah. I remember filling it in, but they never got back to me.
Yeah.
And then I was like sad to like, but you know.
But it makes that's a really Belgian stop word. It makes sense because they were really looking for someone that knew like already like personally as well, like creatives and upcoming artists. And I mean, it's I yeah. I don't know what to say.
But I won't hold that against you. I mean, you're very good at what you do, and you are obviously deserving for the spot. But being in an emerging digital storyteller, what's your intake on on others creators and the negative narrative that they push on the internet? Like during COVID, we saw how somebody can narrate a negative story and it could like change so many narratives for a lot of people, and people were like so I don't want to say they were very reserved to like maybe taking the vaccine or maybe doing something during the pandemic. How does that how do you like how do you feel about that type of storytelling?
That you spread
false narratives about
fake news and
literally.
Yeah. Well,
and this could be like even about celebrities, even about like, because we see how content creators really can change the mindset of a lot of people, especially when it comes to writing.
Yeah, actually that's something I'm working on right now with Chase. It's called The Checkers, and it wants to guide creators in creating and influencing responsibly. And they also combine match them with scientists and experts. But I think having a big audience comes with a bit of responsibility.
Okay.
And anyone has an opinion can voice it on the internet and and get attention for it, and
Literally.
especially like the most extreme opinions get the most attention.
Literally.
And even hate is attention, right? So I think just as a consumer, like we can't control what's posted. We can't really. I mean, that's up to the networks, I guess.
Yeah.
But as a consumer, you just have to be mindful of what you absorb and consume. Check your sources. Be aware of like the polarized environment that we live in online as well, and that algorithms surround you with the same opinions. So try to burst that bubble if you can. Like talk to people in real life.
Literally.
More.
but for us creators, obviously, we're in a space where we use our voices to always talk. How do we try and kind of navigate between saying something that, because we're bound to say something that it's probably might not sit well with one person or a certain community. So how do we then control what we say? Because if we're controlling what we say, then we're not being authentic, are we?
Yeah, no, but I think you can't. Okay, so you can't please everyone. Especially on the internet. Like the people are anonymous; they can say whatever they want. But if you're a respectful person and you're not like spreading, I don't know, like the most misogynist, racist, and ableist opinions on the internet, if you're not a hateful person, I don't think you should worry too much about pleasing everyone.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's also interesting to have different opinions. It would be a bit boring if not.
Literally.
But the internet doesn't enable like a constructive platform for debate.
Literally.
It just creates polarized.
Are there a few challenges that you've encountered with backlash about a few things that you've once said before?
Not really. No, I don't have that much. Like I don't have such a big audience in the first place. But when I released my podcast, for example, Letters to Waste Man, available on all platforms as well. Like I knew that not everyone would be interested in it, and it was not the goal either. And I heard of like friends that some people like thought it was just ridiculous, and that we were just hating on men, but it was like.
Oh, so it was like a feminazi type of thing.
But no, like it's just because they probably the people that say that didn't even listen to the podcast, which is the funniest thing.
That's the problem about content creators, right? Like people just hear a clip and then they paint a picture about you. They don't want to hear you. They say he's this type of person. We don't want to hear from him, which is crazy,
and
right?
They just take over other people's opinions because they lack opinions themselves.
Literally.
So, and I knew like that that's not my audience. They're not my audience, so whatever. Like.
So how do you deal with them? You just let it go. They're not your audience.
No, of course you don't entertain it.
Whoa! So you've never just like backslash somebody with a negative comment.
No, but I don't really have haters, I think.
Then that's a problem. You can't be doing everything that everybody's liking.
But maybe I have haters, but they haven't talked to me.
They're silent haters?
Yeah, they're silent haters.
That's good.
But I don't think so. I don't know.
That's a good thing. How do you collaborate with other teams? Because I've seen you collaborate with so many people. And one of my biggest challenges, as I told you before we even started recording, is like, how do you collaborate? Because a lot of people here in Brussels, they're not really up for collaborating. Everybody's trying to stay in their own corners, and people are not really open to collaborating.
Yeah. And I can give you the example that I had this week, like at the Jamie Awards, the Video Influencer Awards.
Yeah.
My task was to network. And I was like, oh my God, I was like a bit anxious because, like networking, I have like a double relationship with it because it's a bit fake and superficial.
Yeah.
But I try to do it in a way that it is sincere, yet they know I'm just trying to get something out of it. But aren't we all? Like,
literally.
Out of any connection, you want to get some something.
Literally.
I guess. So you just have to get to get them in real life. I think by email or IG, or like if you're lucky, you can get like good contacts, but you have to see them. You have to go out there, see them, just walk up to them, shake their hands, or like if you know them via, just pretend that they're your best friend. Give them a kiss. Like I literally walked up to this YouTuber that won 2 awards. Like, he's quite big.
Yeah.
And I went up to him and I was like, "Hi," and I gave him a kiss, and he like looked at me but like, okay, we're not that close. Real? But we've talked like 4 times maybe, like, but just small talk.
Yeah.
Not we didn't have that closeness to say hi and give a kiss, but I just did that.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't have the guts for that actually, because I've been trying to get a lot of people, and I started wondering, like, do I have to pay them to come up to my platform or something? Because when I started, because initially for me in South Africa, it's like you just invite someone, and if they get to see, because I've had the biggest, for me I would say the huge YouTube stars, because they just looked at my work and they're like, we love what you're doing, we love what you're trying to do, and let us do this thing together. And then they just came to the platform and I collaborated with. But here it's a whole different scenario. Like, I don't know if they want you first to be an established YouTuber, or for you to already have like sponsors and a huge audience, and then they can come.
Maybe because you're not because you're not an established podcast in Belgium or something.
By the way, I've been trying to tell my entire university I will be the #1 youth podcast in Europe. I said it here. You heard it here. #1 youth podcast in Europe. Actually, you heard it here. Okay. So all the youth are gonna have to, come through this platform.
But you just haven't contacted the right ones. I think there's plenty of people that are.
I thought about that too.
And like we all want to uplift each other.
Literally.
At the end of the day, so. I mean, not everybody actually, but just you will attract them.
The correct ones.
And I will give you a list as well of the people that I thought were interesting from the award show.
Okay, that would be dope.
Yeah.
So for a person that is watching you and would love to embark on your journey, what would you tell them? Where do they start? What motivation or what sort of inspiration can you give to them? Corny. I'm gonna say something corny, but do what you love to do. Stay true to yourself. Yeah. Get an authentic concept. Yeah.
Voila. Just go with the flow. Also go with the flow. Don't expect to. But I'm not there yet. Like I'm still. Like,
for me, you like there yet.
Fam.
Come on, fam. Like you're already there, man. You're already there. Come on. What haven't you done?
But that's the example of point of view, like the point of view on it. Yeah.
But when people see that, then you already made it. I mean, what's the next level from what you have done?
But I want more. I want to just go. No.
Okay. What's more for Rosie right now? Like, what more do you want to see, like, on your journey?
Like, I would really love to do like a documentary. I would love to work on more documentaries, and really like on professional ones, because I do my own documentaries, and like they're good. But I want to work with a team. And like really go places and get stories out there.
Yeah.
So that's the next thing that I really want to work towards too.
Who's the one person you'd love for me to interview after you? Like here in Brussels or in Belgium?
I think he would, but he'll be hard to catch. But Average Rob.
Who's Average Rob?
He's one of Belgium's biggest YouTubers.
Oh, okay.
He started from scratch.
Average Rob.
He's from Brussels. He won. That's the guy that I walked up to.
For real?
He won 2 awards.
Average Rob.
Yeah. he does like now he does this. He has this YouTube series where he does extreme sports, and he invites like a big athlete to train him for each episode.
Oh, I think I know him.
He's really funny. He started with Photoshop actually, and he went viral like many times. He has this one picture with with Obama in the subway. Have you seen? But he photoshopped it. But it went viral because he's so good at it that it looked so real. And he always does like funny. He did funny Photoshop stuff. But now like he's a full-time YouTuber. Yep.
But he looks way too professional. Like it looks okay.
Yeah. I mean he's quite inspirational.
Yeah.
But maybe that's like he'll be hard to catch. But who could be here?
Who else? Average Rob.
I will let you know, but I can't like come up with one
for sure.
On the spot.
For sure. What's next for you now? After we've seen you on the university podcast, what else are you doing currently right now?
So finishing up the VUB podcast.
Yeah. Is it just for a season or you the permanent podcaster for
No, it's just for this project, 8 episodes. Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
So like they only paid you to do 8 episodes?
Yeah.
VUB hit me up next after her 8 episodes. And I'm gonna be permanent till I get my degree, of course.
Yeah.
So after the 8 episodes, the project is gone. Yeah.
I mean, it's still on the internet, but yeah.
But what was the aim? So the university approached you?
Yeah, it was a podcast. So Rebels with a Cause is a podcast about societal topics.
Yeah.
And each episode focuses on one topic with a professor and an upcoming creative or artist or activist that is like really engaged in that topic. Yeah. And then I'm the moderator and I talk to both of them. No, not really a moderator because we did this interview separately, but I talk to both of them and I glue the whole podcast together with words.
Because I saw it. It's like a whole production. Yeah. I'm like, whoa, this is not. You guys are taking it to next level.
It's.
How many people are on your team? Like while recording.
There was 4.
Oh, okay. So it's just 4 people.
Yeah. So
okay, but it looks so professional.
The audio guy and 2 videographers, but because they also wanted to film it. It's on YouTube as well.
Okay. Yeah. That's proper, hey?
Yeah.
So for what advice would you...
So yeah, 4 in total. Yeah.
So what advice would you give me? Do you think the podcasting thing is better when you join, I think, an agency, or it's better when you just go solo?
No, I think you should just continue what you're doing.
Yeah.
And like I said, like participate in competitions.
Oh, okay. But you see, when you say participate in competitions, then it makes me feel like I'm doing this for accolades.
No,
and I'm just doing it to give back to my community, because for me, initially, when I started the podcast, it's a voice for the young people. So it's just a platform for people like you for people like us who are young. You came onto the platform, you told your story, you gave value back to my community. And for me, I see it as charity work. I don't see it like I'm not doing it for trophies or for me to get any sort of recognition.
No. But like that's just one way, or you could just really invest on your social media to get it to the next level. I'm just thinking about like going bigger, have more listeners, have a more engaged audience. Then it's always interesting to just like do what you're doing, and then if you already have all of those episodes, you might as well you could send it in, for example, a competition or an organization that gives a platform to creators, because you've already done that work anyway. Yeah, that's what I did.
And then they just like pin you against other creators, and then like who gets to vote then?
Like for last year, I participated in the point of view video competition, and they want to keep the youth off of the streets. Actually, that's always kind of the
But what streets are they trying to keep you guys off?
I mean, like they want to get them like creative, like keep them creative with video. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Right. That's like I heard like somebody said that. But yeah,
that's crazy.
And there's different categories, and I was in documentary, and it was all shot on a Samsung phone, and then the award, like you got an award, and then you also got a Samsung phone.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of press, and like there was this girl like Flo Winde. She's from Studio Brussels. It's a big radio company of the public broadcaster. And she was like, "Yeah, why don't you come work with us?"
Oh, okay.
And I emailed her twice, and I slid in her DMs many times, and she's not responding. So that's that. But I mean, at least she saw me, you know. Like, and now I'm just waiting for my moment. Maybe when I will see her at some event or whatever, then I can just walk up to her and say, "Hi, do you remember me? Why didn't you respond to my calls?" Something like that. You know what I mean?
But at the end of the day, we win a very, the industry is always like that. You see people, a lot of people are two-faced, and with business, there's no permanent friends, there's no permanent enemies. At the end of the day, it's all just transactional.
Yeah, but you just do what you love, like stay authentic.
Literally.
And people will see you for that.
Literally.
Yeah.
Well, we've reached the end. Thank you so much for joining me. What would you like
Thanks for inviting me.
what would you like for people to maybe follow you or go see more of your work?
Sure. So I have actually 3 IG profiles, but just follow me on @Rosanneke.
I'll actually put the link of all of them.
@Rosanneke right here.
Yeah.
And there's links to my other profiles. Please go listen to Rebels with a Cause or watch it on YouTube. If you Google Rebels with a Cause VUB, you will find it for sure. Stay creative. Period.
Literally. Thank you so much for joining me. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Assimilation Podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode and learned something new today. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on your favorite platform. We'll be back next week with more thought-provoking conversations and insights. Until then, stay curious and keep changing the world. I've been your host, MJ Mpoyi. Till next time, goodbye.